Apologies boys, it took me a little longer than it should have, but here we are with part 2 of Little Nightmares alternate / cut / unused arts and more. So, well, we've been showing stuff like this for a while now, ever since the release of Little Nightmares 2. But out of nowhere, a couple of days ago, Tarsier Studios, the developers of Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2 themselves, shared the link to the ArtStation website, basically what we showed in part 1 of this. So there you go, we were on top of the things before things got public, so SmackNPie out here. Anyways, we're gonna go back to the art that we left last time. Make sure to watch part 1 if you haven't already. Now, without wasting any more time, let us begin. So let's start with the sewers. This is where we left off. We're gonna keep going. Now, again, last time I said that some of these areas, my theory here is that the signal tower was trying to recreate the Pale City inside itself. We've seen the flesh of the people that were consumed by the broadcast and the televisions sucked in here, which was supposed to be more dark. In the cut content, we learned that it was more dark. We would have actually seen physically the flesh of those viewers being sucked into the television and then being inside the signal tower, and Thin Man or Mono, whoever you want to call it, would be standing all on the top, learning all of it, leading from the front. That would have been great. Anyways, so that was one alternate ending of many that you didn't get to see. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Here we see the sewers. Really surprisingly, one of my biggest critique of the game itself is how short it is, how small the experience is. And I know that's what makes the game great, but I want it to be longer. I want the sections to be a lot more longer. I wanted more locations here, the sewers. I really hope in Little Nightmares 3 they add sewers in there. Anyways, you see, and the next one, this shows, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the broken part of the Pale City being in the signal tower. This is both metaphoric and the physical broken Pale City. You see where these things are going? Yeah. Skipping past few, we see Barber's shop. Now, one would wonder if there was a longer sequence inside the signal tower where you would see a chaotic Pale City within the signal tower, would you also have seen the barber shop and Barber himself in there instead of facing Barber outside in the Pale City? Could be possible. What if there are counterparts of these monsters inside signal tower that you would have had to face? Okay, I'm kind of glad that that didn't happen. My god. Then we get another cool look at what would have been another chase sequence between Thin Man and Mono. Clean. Good job. Well done. Now see, these two screenshots, we have to talk about it. The first one, I am actually kind of mad that they didn't add this one in. In the first Little Nightmare, when you get outside of the ship momentarily, you would see the guests walking in, and then you would climb this ladder. It's a long ladder. This is actually a metaphor for Six herself, but it was really cool. It actually showed you the outside real world for the first time. And here I was expecting the same thing, climbing over a wall or something like that. Here it shows that there would have been some sort of rain, and you would be climbing up the stairs of a giant wall. We didn't got that. It would have been great. It would have been a full circle for both Six and Mono, but hey, it is what it is. The next one, I talked about this heavily, and this one is actually in the art book, so I don't have to touch on this one. It is from Inside Inspiration, so do whatever you want with that. The next one I want to talk about here is this one. You see the face masks? The masks that doctor made in hospital were being sold here in Pale City in a random shop. Let that sink in. In the next one, we see Mono and Six escaping as the walls are breaking apart and the eyes and this flesh monster breaking through. We've actually played this one, so I can't even complain at this point. This next one, ladies and gentlemen, however, is what made me want to make this video in the first place. So in my part 1, again, watch it if you haven't already, I said these people are kind of sort of trapped, and for kids it's a lot darker, it's a lot tougher because they're the ones that are the victims that can't turn into viewers, but they're stuck in between. So they're normal kids, but at the same time not normal. They're being tortured here inside the signal tower. Like I said in the part 1, signal tower had plans for kids, completely different plans. Why? Well, now we know why. Thin Man was using signal tower to kill any and all kids to stop Mono and Six from repeating that cycle so that he can cease to exist from this huge giant monster that he had become. And that is why kids gets the harshest treatment in this game, which is funny because that is exactly the same thing Kid would say in real life. You like that? Y'all like that? No? Okay. The next one, however, is a lot more darker. We see cages with... Okay, that is dark. Okay, I'm kind of sort of glad on some aspects of it that it didn't make it to the final game, but Little Nightmares shouldn't hesitate when it comes to dark stuff. Pushing boundaries in gaming medium. Last of Us, look at Last of Us 1. It pushed boundary, it did stuff that people didn't think video games would do, and look at it now. Opened a new gate altogether for video games in general. Here Little Nightmares doing great stuff that it did with the final product that we got, but it just sucks that with a lot of censoring and a lot of legal bullcrap, we couldn't get to see so much of this dark stuff. Nasty. Skipping past again, I want to talk about the last 3 from Petrus Johansson Concept Arts. The third last, you see viewers stuck in this again. Prison. I would call it prison because you literally have no other place to go. You can't escape. You have your own replacement of home from real home, Pale City, in the Signal Tower. There is no life after this. So you can imagine how kids would feel here. So once they are sucked in by the television from the real Pale City, they are dragged in here in Signal Tower. These arts shows you that clearly there are plans for the game to show you the aftermath of what Signal Tower was doing to the Pale City, what was inside the Signal Tower, and what was happening to people, viewers, and especially the kids. Because in the next one, you see this. Who is taking that shower? Why does that thing exist? Why is it taking shower? What's going on here? Somebody explain that one to me. That one I can't understand. I have theorized so many stuff here on the channel, but this thing scares me, okay? Imagine if it starts moving. And finally, we've seen that in the digital art book as well. You can see the kids being brainwashed, and God knows all the awful things that are happening to them here. So this shows you how much dark this game was actually supposed to be. If you think Little Nightmares 2 was dark, yeah, now look at these videos that we're making here. This shows you that game was even more darker initially, especially part 1 if you haven't seen one already. And other arts, we already seen most of those arts, so we're not gonna go back to them again, except I wanted to show you 2 more pictures. First of all, this one. It sucks again that we need to get to see more of the Signal Tower. This is a picture from Signal Tower, as you can see here. This is by Ollie Josephson, a 3D artist at Tarsier Studios. Made this for Little Nightmares 2. Very well done. Good job. I really hope in the future they tackle Signal Tower a lot more. And finally, from Sebastian, again another 3D artist at Tarsier Studio, gave us a closer look at that monster at the end of Little Nightmares 2. Again, if you had to learn a bit more about this monster and how things are folding inside the Signal Tower, and it just sucks what we couldn't get. If you haven't watched my first alternate ending video, please do. There is a whole sequence after you beat Monster 6, you escape, and there is this big sequence of you with Monster 6 first and then normal 6, and you would go through this as the Signal Tower itself starts to crumble, and you see the chaotic Pale City. And that day when Thin Man did his thing with the Signal Tower and Pale City, as Pavel Nowakovsky, I butchered that, a senior marketing artist at Tarsier Studio, made this. I don't remember seeing this in the marketing, but this is the story of Little Nightmares. Something I really wished and hoped they had added in. Like, some of this I understand why I didn't add in, but personally I feel like they should have went in a little more. You feel me? You know what I'm trying to say, right? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that would do it for part 2. There's part 3, the final part, where we'll put everything together, so make sure you will come back for final part of the series, Little Nightmares 2 alternate ending. Subscribe right now, help me get to 75k, follow my Twitter and instead it's SmackNPie, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and peace. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Come on, you got me. 6.